I'll tell you all about that just ahead. Or here says those fruity flavors, well, they're going to stay. They are at least 50% of her sales.
They look like, bubble gum. They look like candy.
Vape products, say the Atlanta councilman, are not for children. So Michael Bond believes regulators can and should close a loophole regulating a segment of the merchandise.
They can have this type of advertising on their products. If you're an adult and you make a decision, you're making that decision as an adult. But children are easily tempted by, bright colors.
Vaping is a long-established alternative to nicotine. The owners have repeatedly told Fox 5 they check IDs, and an unaccompanied young person or child would immediately be shown the door.
If you have someone who is of age that purchases one of these bright bubblegum candy-like vape cigarettes, they bring it home, that could also be an enticement for a child, an unintended consequence.
Most use fruit flavors are by far what I sell more of.
The owner of 6 vape shops says fruity flavors handled responsibly are not bad.
I think it comes down to how things are packaged, and if they are packaged in a way that's cartoonish to appeal to younger people, that's where I think the problem can be. We've never been cited. All I've gotten is letters from the Department of Revenue telling us what a good job we have been doing when they send people underage. I don't market to children.
So how old do you have to be to go into one of these vape stores? It used to be 18 years of age. The federal government changed that and upped the age to 21. Ms. Gano says she's just fine with that. From Northeast Atlanta, I'm Morris Diggs, Fox 5 News.
You see here in this video posted to social media.
Trying to part because people are putting these fake little QR codes and stealing their information.
Simone Williams with the Better Business Bureau says the information could be personal or financial, and all it takes is clicking the wrong link.
When a person comes thinking that they're going to pay for parking, they're actually, going to a phishing website.
She tells Fox 5 there are a few ways you can protect yourself.
Touch the QR code. See if it's been tampered with. See if there's another QR code on the bottom.
Another good practice, checking that the link you're opening is secure.
Does that URL have an HTTPS with the extra S for secure, and that it has a lock icon on that URL?
Williams says there are also apps you can download that detect fake QR codes.
Some antivirus companies have QR scanner apps that can check the safety of the scan link before you even open it. So it can identify phishing scams, forced app downloads, or any other dangerous links.
Musicians complain they've been getting ripped off for years, from fans illegally downloading their songs for free to events and venues playing their tunes without paying royalties. But now even their own voices are being stolen thanks to artificial intelligence. Fans went wild this spring when they thought megastars Drake and The Weeknd had released a new song called Heart on My Sleeve. Turns out the voices were fake, generated by AI.
An artist's voice is often the most valuable part of their livelihood and public persona. And to steal it, no matter the means, is wrong.
A Senate subcommittee heard testimony Wednesday about emerging issues with AI and intellectual property.
The creative community is experiencing immediate and acute challenges due to the impact of generative AI in a copyright context.
American copyright industries, including books, movies, music, and video games, employ more than 9.5 million workers and add about $1.8 trillion to the economy every year. Now that AI has emerged as a player in this creative space, current laws are struggling to keep up.
Approximately half of the states have laws that give individuals control over the use of their name, image, and voice, but in the other half of the country, someone who is harmed by a fake recording purporting to be them has little recourse.
Wednesday night, tech pioneer Elon Musk said he's concerned about the immense power of a digital superintelligence and favors oversight and regulation of the industry. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Protect themselves. We're not saying that you're not able to do that. However, it's beautiful when each one it's only doing the role. We have to embrace our difference, and we have to accept our difference. It's not that you are not able to do something that the boys can do, but you have bring to this earth to create life, to educate your children, and prepare for this. It's very special. It's hard to be a good woman. It's hard to be a good girl and a good mother. So you have to prepare for this femininity and to perpetuate human race. This is our goal.
Fascinating. Thank you so much. Now, next, I want to look at the winner of the Netherlands competition, Ricky Valerie Cully, who has spoken about wanting to be a role model for younger trans people and being an open book about the transitioning process. What do you think of that message directed toward the youth?
But it's very explicit, the message. They are promoting transgenderism. They are promoting LGBTQ values. They are not promoting woman values. They are not supporting or respecting the values and the goal of a woman in this society. This society should embrace what a woman is, and we bring life, we bring education to our family, and it should be that way. It should be celebrate the femininity of the woman. It's not beautiful when a man, instead of doing their duty, it's taking place of the woman. This is not only a humiliation, but it shouldn't happen in our society.
And considering these latest developments, what message do you have for today's aspiring young women?
Honestly, at that point, I don't think you should consider to sign up for a pageant that is not respecting your nature. And if I can say this also to my girls, and if they are willing to respect the nature of a woman, you can sign. If they are not willing to respect what is exactly a woman, they should not sign up and lose their time or their preparation or even their money.
All right, thank you so much, Catalina Stuve. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
What is going to be the deciding factor on whether President Trump does or does not participate in the debates?
Great question. At the moment, President Trump has indicated that he's unlikely to participate, at least in the first two debates. He's up by 30, 40, and even new polling shows he's up by almost 50% in certain places. It really wouldn't make much sense for him to go and debate right now with a bunch of folks who are down at 3, 4, and 5%. Even Ron DeSantis, who's a second-place candidate in the race currently, is at least 20, 30, or 40 points behind. And so ultimately, President Trump will make a decision as we get closer. He has not said anything definitive one way or the other. I'm not expecting him to participate, though.
All right, not expecting, but I'm hearing you stop short of confirming. Hey, look, there's two sort of thoughts here, right? One is a little unsportsmanlike, right, to just say, hey, I'm not going to even show up. But the second question I would have is, what's he afraid of?
Well, I wouldn't describe it like that at all. I think in many ways it's similar to getting a bye in the first round of the NFL playoffs. If you essentially have an undefeated season, say you're 17-0, and all the other teams are maybe have 4 wins or 5 wins on the season, you shouldn't have to worry about playing them in the first round. Again, I don't want to go and get too far ahead of the president. He'll ultimately make the decision, but we look very much forward to taking on Joe Biden, which is really what this race is going to be about. And at a certain point here, I think the other candidates who are down at 3, 4, and 5% have to look in the mirror and say, hey, is this actually helping their candidacy, or is it really just getting in the way of us beating Joe Biden next year?
All right, fair enough. And obviously one of the problems with being the challenger or the challenging party is you end up getting bruised and beaten up in the primary and then have to go into the general. It's one of the reasons incumbents win so often. Here is the governor of New Hampshire on this very issue. Take a listen.
And fights for, but he's not willing to stand up. He's going to wimp out and not get on that debate stage.
Response?
Yeah, it's talk about knowing what the definition of wimp is. The fact of the matter is Governor Sununu couldn't even win a Republican primary at this stage of his political career when it comes to whether it be New Hampshire or even at the national level. And so, look, if Governor Sununu wanted to do something, he should have jumped in the race. Come on in. More the merrier.
It's odd that foreign policy has become such a dividing point at a time when really so many Americans feel as though the economy is so bad. At the same time, we have this foreign policy debate now, even within the Republican Party. President Trump coming out today basically saying the war in Ukraine needs to end, and not necessarily that our support needs to end, but it needs to wind down quickly. His former vice president had some thoughts on that. Take a listen.
My former running mate likes to talk about solving it in a day. The only way you'd solve this war in a day is if you gave Vladimir Putin what he wanted. There's only one pathway towards success here, and that is to give the Ukrainian military, much more quickly than Joe Biden has done, what they need to repel the Russian invasion.
Why is Vice President Pence wrong?
Well, I think this is a major dividing point in the Republican primary, as well as in the general election. You know, one of the key hallmarks, one of the key accomplishments of President Trump's first term was the fact that we had no new wars. And I think that was very important. And when you take a look at Ukraine and the conflict that's going on there, President Trump has said the goal should be to stop the killing. The goal shouldn't be getting in there trying to make sure that one side defeats another side. This is about saving lives. And I think President Trump has the right perspective, and this will be a sleeper issue as we round the corner, not just in the primary, but as the general election approaches.
Right, but the only way and to get this done quickly, because both sides, both the Ukrainians and the Russians have a say in this, how do you, quote unquote, end it quickly without giving Vladimir Putin at least some, if not all, of what he wants?
Well, very simply, President Trump is the one who has the relationship with both Zelensky and with Putin. He's the one who can actually get them together and force a resolution on this. Right now, nobody's even talking about trying to stop the killing. You don't hear Biden talking about that. You don't hear certainly any of the other candidates in the Republican primary talking about it. What you hear talking about arming, more arms to Ukraine, more ways to kill people, more ways to keep the fighting going. This was an important issue when we go back and we think about even in 2016 when everyone said that President Trump would start some third world war. But in fact, it's Biden who's taken us closer to that point. I'll give you another example, Leo, and take, for example, North Korea, where you had the Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas.
Yeah, fair enough.
Everyone got it wrong when it came to North Korea, and President Trump actually got them to stop launching.